Hello and welcome to Children's Message Extra. I ran across a few things that I wanted to include but didn't have time, and so I wanted to share them with you in this extra bonus time. The first thing I wanted to point out is we talked about how Pilate was wanting to wash his hands in front of the crowd, and he did that to say to the crowd, this man's life that's going to be taken, it's not on me. I'm washing my hands of this man. I want nothing to do with this man. And it's on you guys. You guys are responsible. I'm washing my hands of this whole thing. Well, that phrase, I wash my hands of you, that's made it all the way down through history. And we still use that today. But the original usage of that phrase comes from this moment in Pilate's life when he stands up in front of the crowd and he washes his hands of Jesus' life. But we talked about earlier in the children's message that there's no way he was guiltless. He was guilty just as we are guilty of the death of Jesus because of our sins. Now, the second thing I wanted to point out is dealing with another main character in the gospel lesson for this weekend. And that character's name is Barabbas. We talked about Pilate and we talked about Jesus, but we didn't say a whole lot about Barabbas. Pastor Brian will talk about that in his message a little bit more in depth. But I wanted to share something I found really interesting about the person Barabbas. If you look at his name, Barabbas, some people have found that possibly Barabbas' first name was Jesus. Jesus Barabbas. Some translations of the Bible have Jesus Barabbas instead of just Barabbas. But what I wanted to say is, although there's some question about it, it's certainly an interesting thing to think about. Jesus, the name Jesus or Yeshua, where we get our word Joshua from, Yeshua was a very common name. So it might have been that Barabbas' first name was Jesus, just like Jesus' first name was Jesus. But now let's go just a little bit farther, and I think this is very interesting to look at, about the name Barabbas. Take the name Barabbas and break it in half. Bar Abbas. Bar means son, and Abbas means father. So you could say Barabbas is son of the father. Son of the father. Isn't that interesting? Son of the father. So if his first name was Jesus, Jesus, son of the Father, would be how you would translate the name Barabbas. And then take a look at Jesus. Jesus was the Son of God the Father. So it's like they had the same name, Jesus Barabbas and Jesus, Son of the Father, Jesus Christ. And so it's interesting then to look at what Pilate says to the crowd. Pilate said to them, "Whom do you want me to release for you, Barabbas or Jesus who is called Christ?" And that's kind of interesting that he puts it that way, because in Pilate's mind, he doesn't want to say, "Who do you want me to release, Jesus or Jesus?" He wants there to be no confusion. Do you want me to release Barabbas, even if he said Jesus Barabbas, or do you want me to release Jesus, who is called Christ? Barabbas sounds, it's an interesting name, and it has an interesting background to it. And Barabbas, who was that criminal, was released that day, and Jesus, who was not a criminal, took his place on the cross. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.